presenting to us.
Kia ora.
Thank you. I'm told that the representative of Diamond Harbour Community Association isn't here yet, so...
No, he's here.
He's here?
Yes. Who told you that?
I don't know. It was a mysterious piece of paper. You're Thomas Kulpe?
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome. Come forward, please. You've been here right from the start, but I didn't know who you were, so sorry. My apologies.
No problem at all. Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for hearing me out. I'm speaking here on behalf of the Diamond Harbour Community Association, and we fully support the 4 goals, the 9 principles, and the 10 action programs of the strategy, but we wouldn't call it really a strategy, more sort of a list of endeavors, hopes, and wishes, rather than something which is detailed enough and has sort of implementation targets behind it. How do I switch this? Here. No. Okay. One of the things we think is missing is that there are no greenhouse gas budgets associated with the strategy. Now, if I would ask any of your councillors what the average costs of a house, a car, an iPhone, or a packet of noodles would be, it would give me an answer which is in the order of magnitude correct. If I ask you how much emitted greenhouse gases in one of the products, I would get probably blank looks. And why is that? Why don't we have a framework like we have for our annual plan, for the LTP, for your debt ceilings? All these things are second nature. And why don't we have it for greenhouse gases? Is it not important, or could it be that if we don't have it, we are toast? I mean, we're talking about our culture, our values, our species might be wiped out if we are going beyond 4 degrees. So how do we manage this? And the old adage is we can only manage what we measure. So we strongly suggest to Council to implement a framework of units of greenhouse gas to be associated with your actions, so that we know where we stand. I mean, other speakers have already said that we need to track what we're doing and we have to report on our progress. And yeah, that is, I think, one of the big, in our point of view, one of the big things which are missing. Each of the 10 action points has an impressive list of things which we are already doing. And if you read them, you think, what's the problem if you are already putting so much effort into these things? Why are we still emitting more? And then the question, of course, arises, what is the reason why these things don't have tractions? I just remember 35 years ago we were talking about waste minimization, and we still seem to have that on our agenda, right? So there could be 3 reasons, and they're not mutually exclusive. But one could be that we don't want to rock the boat. I mean, we want to be seen as proactive politically, but we are very unambitious in terms of implementation. And John Key said that so nicely. It says that we don't want to be a climate change leader. We want to be a follower. Great. Then there could be, of course, powerful forces, that resist change, and with a bit more encouragement, and we can change the course and achieve our 4 goals. Or it could be that the whole approach is wrong, and that we are sort of we are changing the symptoms or working around the symptoms, but not addressing the root causes. And we would need transformative change instead of incremental change. So, just to give you an overview, forget about it, just look at the red and the blue line, right? So our emissions are increasing. In 1990, that's where the red line pathway to 2050 round would be, and the blue line is where we have to be, and it will be vertical at some stage, right? This is a free fall, yeah? And we owe the area between the red line and the blue line is what we have consumed in the meantime since 1990, since we know about this problem, and we have to pay it back. It's a debt to the planet. So it's great to say we will be carbon neutral by 2050, but we owe a tremendous debt already, and this is increasing daily. How do we reconcile our district-wide greenhouse gas emission with a national inventory? We have, I think, two Christchurch inventory, 2 years, and they are done by AECOM, and they don't seem to reconcile with the regional and the national done by the MFE. So where is our greenhouse gas inventory data for Christchurch since in a sort of comparable time from, I think the regional now is from 2017 to 2007 to 2018. One great thing in the current proposal is the sentence, we also need to address the embodied carbon. Fantastic. So we are using a lot of concrete and steel, and we know that these mediums are so climate intensive. We cannot export our problem to say, well, you know, we don't produce it in our city boundaries, or we get it from China. We have to look at building with sustainable materials. We have to look at how will our world look like if we are not having all these materials with high greenhouse gas embedded, or if we don't have them available to us. There's a moral component to all of that. You may have...
Can I ask you to just quickly wind up?
This is the last one.
Great.
Sorry. There's a moral component to that. You may have heard about the judgment of the court, the Constitutional Court of Germany, that it rejected the German version of the Zero Carbon Act there. And they rejected it because it was not in compliance with the Bill of Rights, because it puts too much burden on the young generation instead of... so basically, we are cannibalizing the future of our children. We need strong leadership. Yes, we present this, but we also should lead. And I'm thinking about the speech that Churchill gave on the day when he declared war on Germany, and he said, we can't offer you anything but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. And that's the truth of it, my...
That's a very good line to end on, thank you. Nice Churchill quote. Thank you very much for taking the time to make the submission and presenting it in person. Thank you very much.